It's not going to be easy.
When is it ever?
These videos are satiric reviews. You don't have to agree, but don't bitch about it.
I hate this channel.
Hey there, I'm Social Injustice Warrior V Infuso, and let me make it clear. I just want to come out about this now. I'm a Batman fan. I always have been, I always will be. I mean, look, here's the front of my car. Here are things that I, in my late 20s, bought. Here's my comic book collection. Here's my movie collection. Here's a bowl my aunt bought me as a kid to paint however I'd like, and here's how I painted it. Now, I know you can't really tell, but these are supposed to be the symbols of Batman and his villains. Look, I never claimed to be artistic. My point is, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I like Batman, and pretty much anything Batman related, especially when I was younger. So when I heard that there was a new Batman game coming out for the Xbox, GameCube, and PlayStation that featured models and characters directly ripped from the comics, I was ecstatic. And I wasn't alone either. My best friend Paul actually used to walk through school with a ripped out piece of a magazine that on that page had an advertisement for the game that we'll be talking about today. And we'd spend most of our school days wondering and imagining what this game would be. Who was going to be in it? What was the plot? How great is this going to be? Well, allow me to be the first one to tell you now, it was shit. It was a steaming pile of bat shit. And it was so bad on the Xbox and the GameCube that the PlayStation version was canceled altogether, meaning I didn't get to experience it firsthand. I had to wait till I was at Paul's house. It was so bad that Paul, who loved everything Batman related, hell, the poor guy all these years later is still trying to convince himself that Batman v Superman was a good movie. That same person loathed its very existence and classified it as a waste of money. This Paul also used to nostalgically play the Batman and Robin video game, just so you have a good idea of how bad this had to be. And the Batman and Robin video game, that's just a story for another time. We'll get into it, I promise you. So what made this game so bad? Well, luckily, or unluckily enough for you, I'm here to tell you. So with that being said, bring on the misery. The game starts out showing our main antagonist lurking in the shadows. And wait a second, that's Talia and Ra's al Ghul. Why did you act like this was going to be a big reveal when you immediately gave it away? We know who that is. The character models aren't obscured enough for this to be a mystery, and their voices are very fitting and therefore recognizable. And you even had them referred to each other as father and daughter, so everyone who knows anything about Batman knows who these are. I mean, what? Are the actual in-game graphics supposed to be the surprise? I'm confused. Speaking of the in-game graphics, for the time period this came out, the cinematics are surprisingly good. They don't really hold up well now, of course, but for the time, these were cutting edge. Let's see these graphics in action, and Jesus! We're not even 3 minutes into the game, and we gotta see Bruce's parents die? How many times do we need to see this same exact scene play out in various forms of media? It's almost never changed. Parents shot back alley, pearls everywhere. I've seen it a million times, and I've seen it a million different ways. We get it. We know why he's Batman. We don't need to see his non-origin every single time we make a new Batman movie, game, or TV show. Would you guys just stop killing this poor kid's parents? We start the game off by seeing Batman do what he does best, lurk over the city until he somehow spots a crime, stories below him.
You're lording.
Some kind of a status thing?
Power move?
Some kind of power play?
What the? No! It can't be. You're not real!
And oh no. Is this really the gameplay? Is this, oh no. Oh, this is bad. This is bad. This is much worse than I remember it being. No, I don't. I'm sorry that I inflicted this on you guys. The controls are almost entirely unresponsive. There's a second or two delay before your character actually responds to them, and when he does respond to them, everything about it still just feels so clunky. Everyone in this game moves like robots, with Batman being the worst offender. And the worst part is, This is a major downgrade to other Batman games that were out at the time. Batman Vengeance, also a video for another day. Batman Vengeance came out 2 years before this mess, and I can distinctly recall being heavily invested in that game and having fun for hours while playing it. While this is almost Superman 64 kinds of bad. But hey, at least the music's good, it's got that. Batman leaves the crime scene after smashing in the faces of petty thieves to contact SimCity Oracle.
I've intercepted part of a satellite signal directed at Gotham. The message spoke of a large arms shipment.
An arms shipment, you say? You're gonna want to get there before they start shipping the legs and finally have all the pieces to Exodia. Batman locates the commissioner, where he informs him of the latest crime.
Commissioner.
Must you do that every time?
You know why? Because you're Batman.
Because I'm Batman.
We've reports of a massive shootout in Gazette Square, that the gunmen are wearing elaborate masks.
Black Mask and his gang of false facers.
Or, and hear me out, just hear me out here, or just criminals trying to conceal their identities. I mean, it could be that a couple of these thugs just aren't exactly photogenic. Plus, I mean, when you're doing something illegal, you don't exactly want to be on candid camera. Well, you know, not unless you're R. Kelly. Shots.
They're fighting against a lunatic holding a wooden dummy.
Scarface and the ventriloquist. Another turf war.
Somehow these clowns got a hold of some pretty high-tech weaponry. Military-grade stuff.
I'm sorry, did you just say military-grade weapons? Then call in the force, Jim! Let's not rely on this crazed man in a rubber bat suit. It's not like he's Superman. You know what? On second thought, it's probably better that he's not Superman.
Understood.
This city belongs to me. You have no idea what you're up against, Scarface.
This ends now.
That woman just shifted through that car. She's a shapeshifter. Can someone please call Marvel Studios up because we found Kitty Pryde? And if you think that's impressive, just wait until you see how good the boss battles in this game are.
Get me, Batman.
Oh yeah, that good.
I want information.
I don't owe anything.
Who supplied you with the weaponry? Give me a name.
He'll kill me.
And I'll do worse than that.
No, not worse than him.
You didn't even knock the dude out or handcuff him. You just gingerly tossed him to the side with a gun in his hand. You know what? With that kind of stupidity, Bruce, you should be shot. I am now actively rooting against you for the majority of this game.
Hey, I'll tell you, if you let me go.
Who gave you the weapons?
I don't know.
Wrong answer.
I swear. Let me go?
Yes, as long as going to jail is what you had in mind.
Bruce, you were more violent to the complete nobody helping you out than you were to the actual crime boss. I mean, are we seeing some kind of mask bias here? Or does even Batman know that snitches get stitches? Bats then heads to meet the ventriloquist, who makes Batman say hello to his little friend. And then his little friend shows Batman his little friend. And oh, that probably doesn't sound right. Not sexually. Batman then beheads the little person, who proceeds to talk after his death.
Oh, you think this is gonna stop me, you gig gully? And I can think, get it? I don't think I'm...
And wait, I thought the interesting factor with the ventriloquist was that the reader, or the viewers depending on what form of media this is, didn't know if Scarface really was alive doing all these things, or if Arthur was actually just mentally disturbed. The animated series even had episodes that touched upon this, but here he's just pretty much the real deal. And I'll be damned, it's Tim Drake and Cassandra Cain. Aren't you guys a sight for sore eyes, man? I needed this. Thank you for being here. I mean, sure, yeah, your appearance here does seem a little unnecessary as Batman was dealing with the ventriloquist, not Bane, but sure, yeah, no, just now's a good time. At least this game shows Batman in a true commanding role, setting up a strategy for his team.
Make sure none of them are in need of immediate medical assistance. Then secure them and check the area to see if there are any others I might have missed. Batgirl, I want you to do a sweep of the warehouse district. Robin, I want you to stay here until the police arrive. Make sure there are no rogue false-facers running loose.
Also, it gives us Cassandra Cain Batgirl, who's destined to never see a return in another video game ever again. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Batman contacts Oracle, who informs him that her father is missing.
What happened to Commissioner Gordon?
Listen, Long Ears, we don't need your help.
What happened?
We don't know. We haven't been able to contact Arkham Asylum. No one can get in or out.
Bruce begins his search when he finds... Oh my god, it was Gambit! No, I'm just kidding. It's actually the Joker.
Did you find anything?
A deck of cards with no jokers.
Wait, hold up. A deck of cards with no jokers? Wouldn't it be easier for the guy and also make more sense if he just left jokers? I mean, we all remember that scene from Batman Begins, right, at the very end? Jim Gordon didn't show Batman a full deck of cards without any jokers, he just showed him a Joker card. That was the card that he left. Also, why is he leaving clues? He's not the Riddler. Or the Clue Master. He's the Joker.
I'm on my way to Arkham Asylum. I'm going to get your father.
Wait, how are you going to get in there? The streets leading up to the asylum are a mess. The whole asylum's completely locked down.
And I'll go in underground.
Our hero heads out to face the Joker, but instead runs into these Jokers.
Death comes to all who enter our terrain, even the famed Batman.
Is that Shakespeare? Is that Shakespeare?
Kill. Kill the bat. Kill.
Some exposition happens, and Batman heads through the sewers, and I'm sure you can figure out where this is going next. We all know what villain lives in the sewers.
Ratcatcher.
Ratcatcher! Of course! The well-known and beloved DC villain that we all clearly remember and have great extended knowledge of. Okay, I'll be honest, I'm a diehard Batman fan and I barely remembered Ratcatcher was a thing, so why did this game? I mean, I was kind of expecting Killer Croc, but sure, yeah, whatever. No, that's fine.
Robin, I've got someone here you need to come pick up.
Wait a second. Are you... You're in the sewers?
That's right.
Oh, man.
Batman heads through the sewer system, breaking into Arkham, and it seems that he's thinking the same thing that I am.
Where's Killer Croc?
And there he is! There's our boy! Oh man, I can't wait to see how great this boss battle is. Well, I mean, what is it gonna be like? I bet it's gonna be... terrible. Oh, terrible, of course. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. At least it's consistent. And hold on, no. Wait 1 second. You needed to rescue this doctor from Killer Croc's cell, which he's trapped her in and kept himself out of so that he could come back again to eat her, not sexually. Makes perfect sense to me.
Are you a doctor?
Yes, I'm Dr. McKee.
The world's greatest detective, folks.
We've searched the premises from top to bottom, but found nothing.
Anything else? Don't worry. Just like you.
What? I'm not...
The city's going crazy from the damage caused by Black Mask and Scarface. Everything seems to be under control now.
Tell me where Gordon is and let the woman go. And I'll make this as painless as possible.
Oh no. There's gonna be plenty.
Why was Croc loose?
We don't know. They're all loose.
And gee, where have I seen this plot before? The doc hooks him up with a skeleton key, meaning it will get into almost any room, and he tells her to remain locked in the cell. And man, those Arkham games, they don't have anything on this fighting system.
Where's Poison Ivy?
I don't know. Those things came out of nowhere and attacked me. There was no time to get to the defoliant.
Defoliant?
We keep this special stuff on hand around here, you know, just in case we have any problems with Poison Ivy.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there. Batman should know about this. As a matter of fact, Batman should have invented this and then given it to the cops. Not the other way around. Let me tell you, the cinematics in this game are impressive for the time. But what really takes me out of this game, besides everything about this game itself, is how bad of a contrast it is when it switches from cutscenes into gameplay. See what I mean? Batman's feet aren't even on the ground, they're through it. Okay, is he Batman or is he Inspector Gadget? Where did that bat chain come from? You know what? You can go Gadget, fuck yourself, I hate this. After the fight with Poison Ivy's plant monster, Batman heads to meet with Mr. Freeze.
I see you have noticed my guests, frozen for all eternity. Absolute cold means no decay, no death.
Excuse me, sir. Are you or are you not a doctor? Then you should know that those people aren't frozen in time, they're freezing to death. You didn't even freeze their heads, they shouldn't be frozen. They should all just be really, really cold. And on top of that, despite them being freeze-framed in the cutscene, they're somehow conscious and vocal in the boss battle. Of course! You go through another lame boss battle, you freeze, who is talking despite his body being frozen.
Very well done, Batman. I can appreciate the irony.
Meaning that this game has not only betrayed logic, but it's betrayed its own logic. And then miraculously, after Batman batters the victims out of ice using a bar, they're immediately able to take off running. I'm getting a migraine, I need to sit down.
Goodbye, Batman.
He was going to kill us.
The commissioner? No!
And we can handle it from here, Batman.
Why is it that everyone's talking like they just got their tongue stuck to a flagpole in hazardous weather, while this cranky Dick Cheney lookalike, Jeremiah Arkham, is just fine? Is it because he's used to the cold? Because he has an icy heart? Like Dick Cheney?
I didn't ask for your help.
But you needed it.
Joker is safely locked away in the maximum security wing. I will not allow you to roam through my asylum. If you think for 1 second that I'm going to give you this access card, then you really...
I'm not asking you. I'm telling you.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
Give me the card.
Not a chance. No.
Really? 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 Really?
You just stared him down until he did exactly what he said he wasn't gonna do? I thought we were gonna see Batman knock out an old man. I mean, come on, at least Captain Marvel had the balls to beat up an old lady in public. Then again, you know what, that's an unfair comparison because people actually like Batman, so never mind.
Batman out. Batman out. Batman out.
You know, he keeps saying that every time he gets off the phone. This must have been during his Bart Simpson phase. I mean, every time I hear that, I just expect him to drop the mic and walk out of the Batcave. Now just remember what Arkham Asylum looked like in Arkham Asylum. In Arkham, the asylum was grand and creepy and had some character to it. Here, it's just the same bland 4-tiled walls. Enclosed spaces. I tell you, it's enough to drive a man mad. Batman saves what he believes to be Jim Gordon, despite it being a much younger, much more fit and athletically inclined Victor Zsasz. How? How did you confuse those two? And also, shouldn't he have way more markings on him? Go through another lame boss fight, and then we're treated to the worst Joker performance in the history of Joker performances.
Hello, darling. So glad you could make it. Where have you been all my life?
Jared Leto, eat your heart out.
On the nosy.
Always playing your cards close to the vest. You can't do that when one of those cards is the Joker. Child's play. I could do it every day of the week before breakfast. You know what would have been funny, though? If I'd... No, we'll save that for another time, won't we? It's playtime now.
Look how they massacred my boy.
Releasing Killer Croc, giving Poison Ivy a house plant, allowing Mr. Freeze access to water, kidnapping Commissioner Gordon.
Batman then insinuates that Joker isn't smart enough to conduct this entire plan.
I know you weren't behind all this, Joker.
You don't think I could have pulled all this off?
And while normally I would say that that's bullshit, I agree that this guy right here,
This guy is a mastermind. To be honest with you, I'm surprised he even graduated clown school.
I mean, I hate to keep saying it, but you guys remember Arkham Asylum, right? This game has very little understanding of who the Joker is outside of being a clown. Of course he's smart enough to be a mastermind behind a plan. He's Batman's greatest foe. He always gets away. He never dies. What do you mean he's not smart enough to put this together? Barbara Gordon is in a wheelchair in this version of events. In every single continuity known to man, Joker is the reason that she ended up there. Meaning some form of the Killing Joke took place in this universe. You should not be taking him as lightly as you are. Another thing, I can't imagine Joker playing a part in someone else's plans. That's not really his thing. He's not a henchman. He's the Joker. I mean, sure, on occasion, there's been team-ups. He's worked alongside other villains, but he's never worked under them. He was either on higher or equal footing to them. I'm probably just being a nerd, but... Batman finds Gordon, but first, he needs to take down a bunch of men in straitjackets. An obvious allegory for fighting mental illness. This game is a lot more smart than we give it credit for. After the fight, Batman confronts the Clown Prince of Crime, having figured out who's behind this. Somehow.
Where is he?
Oh, you know who's behind this already, don't you?
Where is Ra's al Ghul?
We don't know how, but he just does because
I'm Batman. That's right. It was the demon's head himself.
No need to explain it. He just thought of him. He's like, that's what it is. That's what it is. Gotta be him. Gotta be Ra's al Ghul. Gotta be Ra's al Ghul. Joker plays a tune on the piano, something he's not really known to do, and turns it into a Titantron, where Ra's al Ghul cuts a promo on Batman. Somewhere Kevin Dunn wipes a tear from his eye and stands up and applauds.
Proving your worthiness yet again.
Kidnapping Gordon was just your way of keeping me out of the picture.
Seek high ground, detective, for my plan is almost complete.
The Tron explodes, and I'm not even gonna start to wonder how all of that worked out. Dude played a tune on a piano, a TV screen appeared, a million-year-old guy shows up on it, says a few words, whole thing explodes. I'm not even gonna get into the logistics of that. That's just way too much time out of my life that I'm not willing to waste on Batman Dark Tomorrow. Batman leaves Arkham, and more importantly, leaves Commissioner Gordon in Arkham Asylum. I guess being the world's greatest detective doesn't account for having common sense. Batman hops in the Batwing, where he proceeds to give exposition to unaware players.
I'm going up against Ra's al Ghul, spurred on entirely by his quest to remake the world in his own image.
Your signal is breaking up.
Try to disable their communication systems. If I can do that, I'll call you.
All right.
And she somehow heard all of that as the transmission was going out. Sure, yeah, why not? But why incorporate logic at this point? We're way too off the rail. Let's not do that. I mean, everything else in this game is either improbable or impossible, so why break the streak? Wow. Look at them graphics. Look at that detail. Now that is good level design right there, let me tell you.
Patrol has retrieved an unmanned glider.
Rage tells his men to be on high alert before promising his daughter he will make an offer to Batman one more time due to her feelings for him, which somehow triggers a really shitty flashback.
You know that you are the only man for me.
Don't you mean the only man your father approves of?
He wants you to be his successor. You are the only man capable of being his heir. You are the only one worthy of me.
No.
Batman takes out the cameras, causing Talia to release the remaining guards. Or Talia is secretly aiding him. One or the other. After some more thrilling combat. Seriously, I'd rather play a game of the 1960s Batman. And come to think of it, why does that not exist? I will give you all of my money. Fun fact, there was never any prompt in the game to do this part right here, installing whatever on the 4 computers or downloading whatever. Don't think about it too much, no one else did. But if you didn't, the game would later end pretty absurdly, with Batman defeating the demon's head, but still failing to save Gotham City. Again, never any prompt to do this, never any hint that you should do this, just do this, otherwise you don't get the actual ending to the game. So very few people actually got the canon ending to all this. That's some great game design. That's smart. The Bat takes out some G.I. Joe ninjas before this wannabe Bane with terrible AI tries to take out the Cape Crusader. When his head isn't glitching through the walls, like it so often does. After the quick defeat, Batman approaches the Al Ghuls. Rage goes into his villain monologue as Talia makes googly eyes at our pointed-eared friend. And after a very long-winded speech,
He starts monologuing. He starts like this prepared speech.
the battle is finally on, with the two having a sword fight, despite you never once using a sword in the game before this. Well, no big deal, because all you do is knock Rage down a few times until you hit him and you watch him take a theatric fall. Is that Shakespeare? Is that Shakespeare?
Well done, detective. You have succeeded in besting me. You may have won the battle, detective, but you have lost the war.
Surprise.
You dodge a sword attack, and Rage takes a bullet for you. Metaphorically speaking. Literally, he takes a blade to the chest. The place begins to collapse with Talia wishing her love a goodbye, and ultimately surviving and putting her father in the Lazarus pit. Great! Just great! Wonderful! What a fulfilling ending. I don't feel like I wasted my time at all. That's exactly how I wanted things. Oh God, why? Why? So much potential squandered. This game is that's all you really could say. What's truly sad about it is that despite its very many flaws, there's definitely some good within it. Superman 64 sucks all around. The quest for Atlantis, or whatever it's called, the Aquaman game, is unplayable. But this game, for what it is somewhat ambitious, and was more true to the characters than a lot of other versions out at the time. You know, except for this one, and also this one. Could have really went without those two. What I really loved and still love about this game is that the character models, as previously stated, aren't based off any cartoon or live-action movie out at the time. They're based on the characters' appearances from the comic books, which really wasn't done before this or too much after it either. If you wanted a Batman game, your choices were pretty much Batman Forever or Gotham City Racer. Here it looks like everyone outside of the characters made directly for the game stepped right out from a comic book panel. They're pretty accurate, and seeing characters like Tim Drake Robin and Cassandra Cain Batgirl in real time is actually kinda cool. At least for geeks like me. Some of the core concepts in this game were later recycled into other Batman games, whether intentional or not. Like the whole turf war idea the game mentioned and gave us a brief glimpse of, would later be used in Arkham City and in Batman Ninja. But more on that one later. The prisoners being loose within Arkham Asylum was later, and much better, used in Arkham Asylum. So there were some ideas there that definitely could have worked. Though ultimately, I have to admit, while I don't see this as being as bad as a lot of other people did, I do see it being really, really boring. It's just bland. It's tasteless. The plot was boring, the action was snore-inducing, and for what everyone was expecting, this turned out to be a major letdown. It was a huge disappointment, which is also the nickname my parents gave me. Even after all these years later, having played it as a kid when my friend came over, and remembering how much this sucked, it somehow got worse. I'm more disappointed leaving this than I was entering it. Just like my subscribers when they click on one of my new videos. Batman Dark Tomorrow was a terrible today. And that's all I got. That's all I got.
I'm the Clown Prince of Crime, and that was the Prince of Personality, the Infuso. Or so he says. So if you like the words that came out of his mouth hole and you too want to become a VTard, don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow the man on Twitter, because it's not stalking if it's on the internet after all. Join the fun by joining the Discord. If for some strange reason you want to show support, and I don't know why you would, and if you have $1 to spare, head over to the SIJW's Patreon, where you can request videos, get exclusive content, and early access to scheduled videos. Or head to his PayPal, where you can buy the shirts. Oh, aren't those lovely? And just remember, if you're not tuning in, you're missing out. Yeah.